Season 7 is considered by fans to be one of the worst seasons of Drag Race due to the fact that it was an acting challenge heavy season with a lot of queens who put looks in the forefront of their drag and some queens that invalidated the younger queens. What the fans also hold against it are things like the mistreatment of Max, the choice of the top 3, the choice of the winner, the mistreatment of Trixie, and it doesn't also help that this season followed season 6, which in my opinion is one of the best seasons, if not the best season, with the best winner of Drag Race. One of the most quoted moments from this season is Pearl's "Is there something on my face" to RuPaul, which had happened right before Pearl walked out of the workroom. For a brief moment, the idea that Pearl walked out of the competition as a whole was played up, but she returned into the workroom like 2 minutes later, but like 2 minutes screen time later. But what if she had actually walked out? How would have that affected the season? I'm gonna go episode by episode, starting with episode 5 and try to figure out how the rest of the season would have gone. And of course, this is all just me guessing this stuff and nothing to be taken seriously, blah 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 blah. So in episode 5, Pearl walks out, Max is left to present on his own. Pearl revealed on her Instagram that she was the one who wrote all the jokes for her and Max, which ultimately led to their win that episode, and Max might have done okay on her own, though there really wasn't much competition here, like no pairing was really that funny overall, maybe like Jaden and Kennedy, but like not even them. I do think that it would have been the same bottom two, you know, Candy Ho and Mrs. Kasha Davis, where Mrs. Kasha Davis would have been eliminated. Now, since in episode 6 we have one less queen than we did originally, I'm gonna shift the main challenge and the runway from episode 7 to episode 6, from 8 to 7, and so on and so on. With all this in mind, episode 6 is the Snatch Game episode with the lace and leather runway. I couldn't really find any information on who Candy would have done for Snatch Game, but given that up to that point she hadn't exhibited any comedic chops, I do think she would have been in the bottom 2. Now, who would she be there with? Max or Jaden? If it's Jaden, Candy's going home, but if it's Max, Candy stays. Max really bombed Snatch Game while Jaden had a good start, but then like it all went downhill from there. And on the runway, Max didn't do anything spectacular other than wear a not great wig, while Jaden looked, you know, not the best. But because RuPaul seemed not to care about Max so much, let's say that Max is in the bottom 2 with Candy and thus is eliminated. The next episode is the makeover episode, and we have an odd number of girls here, so let's say that Kennedy, by winning the mini challenge, also gets the opportunity to sit this challenge out and pair up the other girls. Thus, we have these pairings: Katya and Kasha, Ginger and Sasha, Violet and Max. Fame would get Trixie, I think, Jaden would get Jasmine, and Candy would get Tempest. This immediately means that Trixie doesn't get to return because she doesn't have plot armor with Pearl to pull her back into the competition. And the bottom 2 I see being Ginger and Candy, with Candy being eliminated, and the winners being Katya and Kasha, with Mrs. Kasha Davis returning to the competition. In episode 8, we have the John Waters challenge, which is, by the way, my favorite challenge from season 7. With Kasha back in the competition, I see her partnering up with Ginger and doing well, probably being high even, or placing high, not being high. Kennedy and Katya stay the same, while the third team is Violet, Fame, and Jaden. The runway team for this episode is ugly as dress, and not to drag Jaden, but I don't think she would have done well in the John Waters challenge, but I do think she would have done well on the runway. I see the bottom 2 being either Fame and Jaden or Fame and Violet, but either way, I do think Fame goes home on this one. Episode 9 has the dancing challenge, and with Pearl and Trixie not here, Ginger and Kennedy don't have partners. So let's say since Ginger and Trixie worked in the John Waters challenge and the dancing challenge in the original season together, that Ginger and Kasha are together in this one, while Jaden is with Kennedy. Again, not to seem rude to anyone, but Ginger and Kasha are like clearly in the bottom 2 here, and with this I do see Mrs. Kasha Davis going home. Like, while I do think she's a great performer, the judges this season just fucking adore Ginger and her, you know, comedic lip syncing, and plus Kasha is the returning queen, so yeah, she's going. Episode 10 is the Hello Kitty design challenge. Violet did amazing here, but the rest were like okay or bad. But by the way, I still have no idea how Pearl, with that blanket around her and that Madonna knockoff Hello Kitty character, didn't land in the bottom 2. Good thing she's been sucking RuPaul's dick for so long. That was awful. That was my pheromone impression. It was bad. Anyways, I feel like the bottom two would have been Kennedy and Jaden. Katya had maybe the funniest Hello Kitty character with like a questionable look, while Ginger was also funny and her look was also like kind of eh. Now, Kennedy failed to impress me with both looks, while Jaden is, you know, not really known as a fashion queen nor a comedy queen, though, like, ironically, she's, like, actually very funny. On top of it all, that becomes her look that Jaden made the judges fucking hated. So yeah, I don't think she would do well in a design challenge. And if the lip sync, well, if Kennedy's lip sync went as it did with Katya's, I don't see Jaden winning this. So yeah, Jaden goes here and Kennedy stays. This leads us into the top 4 of the season: Ginger, Katya, Kennedy, and Violet. Since RuPaul already chose someone over Kennedy, even though she had a better track record than the person in question, I'm gonna say that the top 3 of the season are Ginger, Katya, and Violet. This means that Katya can be Miss Congeniality, so the winner of Miss Congeniality, in my opinion, would have been Jaden and should have been in the original season, but like, whatever. But knowing the Drag Race fans, it would have probably been Max. RuPaul and the producers wanted season 7 to have a winner that's more modern, like someone who the newer fans and the teenage demographic could relate to easily, and this is not my opinion, like Michelle revealed this in an interview. So Violet and Katya would have been chosen over Ginger, sadly. Now, Violet or Katya, who would have won? I really don't know, like, I can't decide, because, like, they're both different, and I see arguments on why, you know, either of them should win. Okay, but, like, let's say because Katya was so fun on All Stars 2 that she doesn't win, she's a runner-up with Ginger, and thus Violet wins season 7, as she did originally. And yeah, before you all say anything, yeah, Violet said that if Katya had made it into the top 3, that she would have won instead of Violet, but, like, that's Violet's opinion, this is not her video, so fuck off. Like, okay, in theory, Pearl leaving in episode 5 could have changed a lot. I mean, clearly, given that she was in the top 3, but we will never know exactly. This is all just, like, my speculation and, like, me guessing shit and whatever. And if anything I said in this video made you feel mad or feel any similar emotion, just remember that we all have opinions and that none of this matters, because, like, we're all gonna be dead someday.